All right, a couple of fresh prong crawlers. Got to get these things dialed in on these kids. This is Poe and Tank. Boy, do they still need a lot of work. Trying to get them off leash, but we got to do a lot more foundation first. The obedience has to really get dialed in. Your marker system, your engagement, all these things need to really come first. Build that relationship up real nice. Communication system in place, and then we can kind of start to expect a little more out of their off-leash obedience. But right now they're about as green as it comes, especially in an environment where competing motivators are, I just had them out in my big open space. This is my closed off arena. I've got like a couple acres down there, and boy, I could not get them to come back to me at all. Because everything else is taking precedence, right? The environment is much more important than the owner, and plus they've never been off leash like that before, so it's a commodity. They're not used to being off leash, and when a dog isn't used to being off leash, why the hell would they consider coming back to you? That's why I always talk about as puppies, man. People don't set that foundation as puppies. Take advantage of that puppy pack drive. Typically, a puppy doesn't want to steer too far away from their owner. You walk 10, 20 feet. Usually the puppy's like, hey, where are you going? And then you can mark and reward that. And you set that foundation from an early age, and the dog is acclimated and understands what it's like to be off leash. Problem with never taking your dog off leash from an early age is what we have here. These dogs are like, freedom! And you ask them to come back to you, and it's like they don't hear shit. They've never produced that behavior of going from over there to over here off leash. It's like all these other things take precedence. And now we have to backtrack as a result of that. Now our work is really cut out for us, and we have a long road ahead to get to the point where we're reliable off leash. And of course, the e-collar is a game changer when it comes to that. I did it with Rosie. Actually, Rosie was off leash a lot as a puppy, so it was one of those things that I accidentally did good. Didn't realize that I was doing good there. Taking a couple links out of this sucker because I know even that's going to be too big. I'm probably going to take a third one out. I could kind of eyeball these dogs' necks and understand where they need to be in reference to size. It's got to be sized properly. Come here, baby. Good girl, Poe. I need to take one more out of that too. Psychos. Hey, Tank, here. Yes. Good man. Come here. That's a man. All right, we got Tanks on. Tanks is sized perfectly. I think I got to take one more out of here for Poe then. Yeah, I do. Let's see if I can get Poe over here. Poe. Yes, good girl. Hey, Poe. Poe, right here. Enough. Enough. Nope, 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 nope. Good. Poe. Yes. Poe. See what I'm saying? Poe. Good girl. Up. Gotcha, bitch. So that's precisely what I was talking about. So we're going to get all your tools on. Good to go. We're going to work a little bit on leash first. You fucking psychos, man. All right. Okay. Here. Yes. Good. That's a good job there. Get this on you. Got that. Tank, come here. Sit. Good. Yeah, you guys have had your chance to get your fucking wiggles out. It's time to lock in now. All right. Just going to kind of get them back down to neutral here. This is actually my first time walking them simultaneously. They're going to be psychos at first, and I'm just going to change directions quite a bit. And I'm going to be handling both dogs with one hand. Come on. Steady. Kind of steering them along. They've never felt what it's like to walk like a lady and a gentleman on the same side. Okay, bring them back down to earth a little bit. They've been in a high level stimuli, so we're going to go ahead and manage this walk here and calm them down and kind of go at a little bit of a slower pace. Steady. Light pressure. These dogs are softies, so I don't want to go too heavy on the pressure. Hey, show you guys a little something before I continue on here. The way I'm holding the leash in this hand, it's like I'm using my index and my thumb for one leash, and then I use like my pinky and my ring to kind of manage the other. So if I'm correcting one, I'm not correcting the other. You know what I'm saying? I'm only applying pressure to the dog that needs the pressure. If one dog is in a nice heel, well, I won't be putting pressure on that dog. If the other dog is speeding up or doing some other shit, I'm going to make sure, and I do that with one hand, and I use the excess of the leash in this hand. Heel. And it's something that you're going to have to kind of get used to. It's something I'm going to be working with their owners with, because, you know, the goal is to eventually get them so used to walking in this good heel position that you could eventually just kind of chuck the leash in one hand like this. And that's just where they are, and you don't have to worry about managing each leash individually. But it makes it much easier when you put the excess of the leash in your right hand, and then you just have your left hand to sort of, you know, this leash or this leash. You could even just, you know, I've been doing it so long, I could keep the leashes in my hand and do it. But if it makes it easier for you, you can let go of the leash and go one dog at a time. Come on, dude. But this is kind of what we're after here. Hey, see, just him. Oh, slow down. Good, heel. So this is the type of drill that I'd be doing every day before we go on our walk. Changing directions, making sure you get them in a nice heel, calm position, and you know, managing the game a little bit. And then you could start entering your long, straight walk. But not a minute before then, because all that's been practiced up to this point are these dogs just fucking losing their minds out in front and dictating the game. You know, those days are over. You know, it's like you don't want your dog walking you. And the other side to it is there's no thinking involved in a lot of people's walks in terms of what the dogs are doing. They're not thinking about shit other than what they want to do. They're dictating everything. And so when you practice this directional change thing and this managing the game thing, where they're going at the pace that you choose, you know, I'm walking at this really chill pace because this is the pace I want to walk when I'm going on my walk. I don't want to have to focus on like keeping up with their pace. It's a chaotic, out of control, unpleasant pace, right? Well, what about the exercise, Chad? Why don't we want to get them out? If you want them to run around like psychos, let them do that for a minute in your backyard or some shit before you go on your walk. That's fine. I mean, there's an argument to be had there that if you do that, now your dog is going into the walk in a highly stimulated scenario, right? So it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of how your dog's feeling going into the walk, because to be honest, regardless of if you let them run around in the backyard and get that out or not, once they get out the front door, they're going to be just as excited as if they, you know what I'm saying? Any new environment for a dog, especially these fucking wound up guys, there's always going to be a certain level of stimulant because, whoa, new place. Oh yeah, let's go crazy. No, dude. And so any new environment, we're going to practice this same shit until we get our wits about ourselves, and then we can continue on with our walk. And one thing I want to point out, because again, I'm going to send this to the owner of these dogs, is one of them's back here kind of trying to hunker down and be like, no, I don't want to walk at that pace. I want to do what I want to do. The days of negotiating with these dogs, they're over. Like, I'm not negotiating with you, bro. You're gonna walk, dude. So when they hunker down or go left or go right, I'm just going. And I'm suggesting that just by continuing going. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you feel like stopping. Like, oh, you feel like doing this. I don't care what you feel like doing, buddy. I do not care. And how am I suggesting that? I keep walking. He's gonna run into pressure. You stop walking with me, I'm gonna keep going. You're gonna run into pressure. And as soon as you do the good thing, the pressure comes off. So we're effectively teaching them to follow the leash pressure, okay? Because that's a reward in itself. People don't understand. When that pressure comes off, it's like, it feels nice. It's actually positive reinforcement. It's a reward in itself. So you don't necessarily have to have food to teach a dog to follow you. You just need to understand that you need to have the patience and the wherewithal and the leash handling skills and the directional changes to get them to follow you, just like this, before you even start walking. So if you got to practice this shit for 10 to 15 minutes in your driveway, you are not to step off your driveway until you get them just like this. Does that make sense? Steady. Good. I'm glad it makes sense. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel. This is all information and shit that people pay for. So you're getting all this for free. And if you appreciate that and you want to support the channel and you want to support this free stuff that's bringing value to you, and you're the type of person that believes in the law of reciprocation, patreon.com/Team Floppy Ears, 5, 10, 15, 20, however much you appreciate this content is what you can choose to contribute on that application. I appreciate you to the moon and back. I'm Captain Chad. This is Poe. This is Tank. And we're going to get back to some more super boring, very simple and basic shit that turns out to be extremely effective. It's shit that people are like, oh, duh, there's nothing brain busting about this shit. It's the application of it on a consistent basis. It's once you learn, now you know, you can get to work. And so I highly encourage you watching this video right now, stop expecting more from your dog than what you have taught them and get your ass to work. Team Floppy can't stop me.